I'm live and there's no echo because I finally learned how to take care of the echo at the beginning of a show. You guys, welcome. Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, October 14th, 2020. Boy, since the beginning of the year till now. That's months, but it seems like it flew. But while we were all going through it, time seemed to just drag out, and felt like certain days wouldn't have an ending to them, but here we are, middle of October, and we're looking at the end of the year, and phew, boy, what a ride it's been. Okay, usually you guys, sometimes I start out with a complaint, sometimes I don't, but this isn't a complaint. This is something, when you're all by yourself and you do something that had people been watching, it would have been supremely embarrassing. Like one of those groaners, the duh moments. Okay, really quickly, because I'm excited for our guest today, but I got to get this out. I made myself a sandwich the other day, just that grocery delivery, and I was just going to have a very simple cheese and tomato sandwich, just little cheese and tomato sandwich. And so I got some baby Swiss and I got some Irish cheddar, thin slices in the package. You pay more than you really should for the convenience of slices. Anyway, I made my sandwich. Oh, in fact, I put butter lettuce on it too, but lots of cheese. So I sit down and I'm enjoying my sandwich, and I keep hitting these. Oh, what was that in the tomato? Pulling these things out of my mouth that are just really tough. And oh dear, this is gonna turn my stomach. Am I gonna have to throw away my whole day? And then it occurred to me that, as I slapped my sandwich together, I neglected to remove the paper that's between each slice for the packaging. And so there were probably 3 or 4 of those little papers in my sandwich that I just didn't think to get them out of there. So, if that had happened in front of anybody else, I just would have been mortified. And depending on who the audience might be, somebody might say, well, you dumbass, or something like that. But I was all alone, fortunately. But, I've been eating a long time. And I know about those little papers, and it's probably early onset dementia. Well, actually medium onset because I'm old. Okay, enough of that. Hi, everybody in the chat. I'm going to bring Maggie, my sidekick, on. I rattled on for far too long. Okay, Maggie, hi.
I'm sorry. Eating plastic.
Well, it was paper. It's kind of this waxed paper.
Yeah, I know someone who actually ate the whole sandwich years and years ago, and told the person whose fridge they'd raided not to ever buy that cheese again.
Something wrong with that cheese.
But he ate the plastic.
Oh God, yeah.
It brought back memories. Hi everyone, I hope you're all well.
Hi everybody in the chat. Okay, so I'm looking at these guys. Okay, Druid Lover.
Sorry, water.
Okay, Druid Lover 1. First in. Thanks, Druid Lover. Quickly took away the title from Jonocide, who's usually first in. Jonocide is at work. Tribe, but no promises. Hey, thanks for showing up. And
true, yeah.
Okay. Comfort Doll. Hey, thanks for showing up again.
Hey, Comfort Doll.
Expanding the process, Davey. Good to see you. Veronica May, Agent Veronica. Adam E. Hi. Wishing the family well. Okay. Who else is here? Who else is here? Stephen Ronan. Good to see you.
I've missed you, mate.
Yeah, you've been scarce a little bit. Good to see you, Stephen. Okay. Oh, Trisha. Hey.
Yeah, Trisha's in.
good to see. Okay, so Maggie, I'm going to bring on our guest. I'm really excited about this. So you guys, for our Wednesday show, allow me to present. No, I'm presenting the Mudbrooker. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thank you. And
Yeah,
Maggie.
Oh, it's great to meet you. And what you did doing that advert meant so much to me and Robin, because nobody's ever done that for us before. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, don't mention it.
Oh, well, I'm going to mention it because I never do what I'm told. That your promo for this show got more views than some of our shows, real shows. And that was just a promo. So, you know, the Mudbrooker has a couple more viewers than us, a couple more subscribers. You know, he's a little bit bigger than us, and he's just been very gracious. You know, we really appreciate you being here. Thank you. But man, okay, I'm going to jump right into this, and I'm going to turn you loose. If you, this man probably knows more about the care and nurturing of cast iron than anyone I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not a dummy when it comes to cast iron. I grew up with it. I took care of it. But I've learned stuff from him that I didn't know about. There are just so many more things. And now, holy crap, now he's in the middle of restoring. Maybe you're nearing the finish. Restoring.
See it behind you. Yes, it's a beautiful piece. It's absolutely stunning.
The cast iron stove. So let's get started with that and our mutual love of a well-seasoned cast iron cooking thing.
Well, there's more than just cast iron frying pans. I mean,
I know.
I got a few here for later on. There's all kinds of different things. But with the stove, I've actually had that stove for 30, 35 years anyway. And we got it from an abandoned farm next to my uncle's place, and we got hold of the owners, and it was sitting out in it was the body off an old beer truck. Actually, it's this it's this old insulated van body, and it was in fairly good shape. We took it home, cleaned it up, and started using it because we had a cook stove before that, and the grates burnt out and broke on it, and it was just unsavable. So we got this, and we used it for quite a few years. And when we remodeled the kitchen last time, probably about 15, 20 years ago, we took it out and put it up in the shed. And I decided I'm going to bring it back in and put it back to use and fix a few things on it that needed to be fixed. And I should have the mechanical repairs done on it this week, and technically be ready to go. But I'm going to put a new clean out door on my chimney, clean the chimney, get that all ready to go, test fire it, make sure everything's good. And I'll be doing that next week. So within, a week and a half or so, it'll be up and running, and then I can relearn how to cook on the damn thing. I used to be pretty good at it, but I wasn't all that great at baking with it. But I was good. I was good at using the cooktop. So it ought to be an adventure relearning how to do that.
Yeah, and getting back into the ritual of cooking on a wood stove, because it does take tending and watching, paying attention to the airflow and all of that, and then how your food's doing. But besides that, but the ritual is very satisfying, boy, if you get in the zone with it. It's
you got to redevelop the touch for maintaining your fire and keeping everything where it needs to be to get everything consistent. Otherwise you'll get real hot and then too cold, and it can be a pain if things get out of hand.
And it's always trial and error, because every stove is different. I've cooked on a couple of them. They were just so different. One was larger than the other, but the tending, checking the glow, the coals, whatever, if you need an active fire, if I've been perusing your channel, and the one you did about the chimney fire. However brief, what a high tension moment that must have been.
Yeah, it was fun.
And you said the whole thing took what, less than 15 minutes, just around 15 minutes. You would like went into action.
Yeah. Because you pretty much got to deal with something like that myself out here as best I can. Because if I call the fire department, it's going to take at least a half hour for them to get out here.
Let it burn until we get there.
It's a small town volunteer fire department, and I live 15, 20 miles out of town to begin with. So by the time they get to the fire station, get everything started up, and get out here, if you don't have things reasonably under control, it's pretty much out of control.
Oh boy, very, very quickly.
When I lived up north, we were that rural, and the farmer's son car overheated. It was that hot. Went on fire, phoned the fire brigade. There was no left of it by the time they came. There was nothing, literally nothing. And it was the highlight of Berwick's newspaper, because nothing ever happened there.
That was big news.
Oh, well, 2 years ago, we had a house explode. They had just finished building it. They were just finishing it out. They'd installed the gas furnace, and there must have been a leak or something, and something set it off. And as the crow flies, the house is about 7 miles away. Mm-hmm. And about maybe 2/3 of that distance is a big lake, and it was towards the end of December, so everything was frozen over. And I was standing in the bedroom talking to the wife, and you could physically feel the shock wave pass through our house and me, and I wondered, what the hell is that? Thought maybe it was a lightning strike nearby, but it's the middle of winter and it was a clear night, so that was kind of unlikely. We found out later this house had exploded, and there wasn't a piece bigger than maybe that left of that house. Yeah, I mean, it just completely.
It must have been a gas explosion.
Yeah, they had just put the furnace in, and there must have been a leak, filled the house with gas, and furnace kicked out.
Was it
were they out of the house? Were the people out of it?
No, it wasn't completed yet, so they hadn't moved in.
Oh,
probably just put the windows in, nice sealed up place for the gas to collect. I'll bet you.
Yeah, get everything warmed up so you can finish painting and all that. And,
dear, I don't mean to laugh, but
yeah, I mean, it was quite awful. The blast, and it damaged a couple houses nearby, but it was quite the thing.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Mudbrooker, you said that cast iron isn't just all about skillets. I know. I had a Dutch oven, the Dutch oven, with the lid that had the little pokey down things. Probably a real name for those things. So the
little drip things.
I knew he knew the right word. So the juices, the condensation drips back into whatever you're cooking. And I learned many years ago that it's healthy to cook in cast iron because any metal throws off the little molecules, or if nothing else, the essence of it. You're getting iron. Who doesn't need that? So a little side note: never cook in
side note. That's why a lot of people use silver cutlery as well. Silver is a healing compound.
But aluminum is the devil. Don't ever eat anything out of aluminum. That was a big deal back in the late 40s, 50s. And every household had aluminum. And then come to find out that, lo and behold, post-morts on very elderly people with dementia, high buildup of aluminum toxicity in their brains.
Yeah.
Hello. Don't ever eat out of it. So, but anyway, back to the topic of cast iron. I had, when I got married, I brought in a couple of pans from my mom's house. Who doesn't leave with something from their mom's house when they move out? And then my children's father brought stuff from his family. And, he had this the lore of regarding the care of cast iron and its value. And it's, you know, it's passed down from generation to, well, I hope it's still being done. But his family came from back way in the Midwest, and his mom was born in Neopet, Wisconsin. And they would use cast iron over a campfire, and yeah, you know, suspended all kinds of, and that's how I learned my first big lesson about caring for cast iron. If you're out with an open fire and you want to do a little maintenance, throw that puppy on the campfire after all the cooking's done, and it'll burn off that. If you have a crusty outside to your pot or your pan or your skillet, it takes it right off. And take a little wire brush, you know, gently. And so that was the first important thing I learned outside of seasoning. You know, you learn that from the time you can walk if you know about it. But okay, boy, I'm blabbing. This is your show. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you can burn the crud off in a fire, but it's not really the best idea. There's risks involved. You can crack the cast iron if it doesn't heat evenly in the fire. And it also can oxidize it in odd patterns and make the iron brittle.
That's Grumpy. He wants you to show us
your massive guns. Are you talking about he should roll up his sleeves? Those guns, or other guns? What guns, Grampy? You know, I'm an old woman. Please.
He wants me to roll up my sleeves and show off my manly arms.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Well, thanks, Grampy. Thanks for this.
By the way, darling.
Okay. So, but throwing it into the campfire isn't always the wisest or best way.
Yeah, the best way to strip stuff off a cast iron is either oven cleaner or a lye bath. You mix up a pound of lye crystals for every 5 gallons of water, and you just throw it in there and let it soak.
Whoa! See, that's something I didn't know. Lye scares me. I don't think I've never worked with it. But the other one now, I didn't. Yeah.
If you just have a couple 2 or 3 pans to clean up, oven cleaner is the handiest way of doing it, and it's pretty safe to use.
Yeah. What do? Spray them up and then put them in the oven?
You just spray them off and put them in a plastic bag.
Oh, in a plastic bag. Okay.
And you let them set overnight or a couple of days, and you take them out of the bag, wash them off, and see what you got. You might have to repeat the process a couple of times, but it'll take it right down to bare clean iron.
Wow, I never knew about the vinegar thing either.
Yeah, and even after you get them stripped down, a lot of times there'll be rust underneath the crud. And there's a couple of ways of removing that. You can use electrolysis, where you use electricity and a solution of washing soda, and that works extremely well. But again, if you just have a couple to do, mix up a 50-50 vinegar solution and let it soak in that for a few hours and scrub them up and see where you're at, and keep repeating as necessary.
Wow, boy,
your channel you can do with vinegar.
No kidding, but your channel is such an education, and you're very loved and respected, and you do fascinating stuff, and you have this great voice and this great speech pattern. It's people just pull up a chair and sit down.
Your voice, sorry, Robin. It reminds. I said it to Robin earlier, like a cowboy, like the John Wayne films. I don't mean you're looking like that. I mean you sound like that.
I think he looks exactly like he sounds. But anyway, I find it fascinating. But you guys, this gentleman does more than this. He also cooks, and he has given you really beautifully presented demonstrations, even though it seems very off the cuff. and casual. This man knows how to stage what he's doing, and it's visually pleasant, and then he's talking about it, and then you get to watch stuff, and boy, your cinnamon rolls, baby.
I love cinnamon rolls. I haven't seen that one.
Oh yeah, and of course he makes it look simple. Well, it is. He doesn't do overly fancy. He just
Yeah, that was a real easy one. Just using frozen bread dough. You just thaw it out. You roll it out nice and flat, and sprinkle it good with first put a good bit of butter on there.
Yeah,
you got to have plenty of butter.
Sprinkle it down with cinnamon. Cover it with brown sugar. Roll it up. Cut it up and bake it. That's really all there is to it.
And when this gentleman describes, of what he says, you use the butter. Here he'll scoop it out of the butter crock and slap it down on that dough, and this is
you got to have butter, plenty
of butter. There's no such thing as too much butter or too many onions. So, and you've made bread, and you've demonstrated that. Gosh, what was the most challenging demonstration cooking thing that you've done in your memory? What was the most had to be planned, extensive, or difficulty, or what?
Well, you see, all of them, because I don't have a staff to clean up after me, for one thing.
Yeah.
But pretty much all of them, I have to do it basically in one take, because if something goes wrong or I really screw up something in the video, I'm pretty much screwed. And, you can't, a lot of times, you can't, uncut the loaf of bread or something like that if you're going to try and slice it. And probably the most difficult one really was the braiding, when I did a braided top loaf of bread in a Dutch oven. And I knew how to braid it, but trying to handle it and get everything to look right on camera, and then not screw it up when you pick up the braided section and put it on top. Because that's where things usually go horribly wrong. And but I managed to do that fairly safely, so it turned out pretty good.
Oh, cool. So, do you have any boo-boos? You've been around here doing what you're doing for some time now. When did you start doing this? I think I started making videos on different things probably about 10 years ago. But it's probably about the last 3 or so that I've gone more into the cooking and the cast iron. Yeah, and the more showing out in that regard, I love it. Yeah. I'm glad you made that decision. But do you have any recollection of anything that would be considered a blooper? Have you ever spilled your drink or dropped something on the floor?
Yeah, quite often drop things, and a lot of little stuff I just leave them in, because one of the cheese making video, there was at least twice that I didn't turn the damn burner on, trying to warm up the milk to make cheese out of it. And, look down. Oh yeah, work a lot better if I turn the burner on. Yeah, it's one of the drawbacks of an electric stove. There's no flame there to obviously see what's going on. So,
boy, I hate electric stoves with a burning hatred, because I grew up with gas, and many times, and I've cooked on electric stoves in other people's houses and rentals and stuff, and I find myself still, when I turn down the temperature, I lean over to look for a flame.
Yeah.
And there are just coils, dumbass. But then I've also set dish towels on fire, because those things don't cool down real quick. They stay pretty hot for a long time. So sometimes I get anal after cooking, and I'm wiping down the stove and then drying it off with a dish towel. Poof! Dish towel will ignite and go up quicker than anything in your whole life, especially Yeah, if you're startled easily by flames, I hate electric stoves. I really hate them.
Yeah, I had to live with one for a year, and that must have happened to me most weeks.
Okay, cool. Yeah, also burns are easy. You know, burns on your finger. That's also very easy. If you get too
Yeah,
close.
but I was only 18 at the time. I hadn't got granny excuses back then.
That's too funny. So, okay, so you make cheese. Yeah, yeah. So, how many types of cheeses have you? I need to go back. You guys, the link is in the description. Go subscribe to Mudbrooker. Like he really needs subscribers. You guys, please. His subscriber numbers.
Sorry, Robin. In the times we're coming up to, his remedies and whatnot is the kind of things we're going to need.
That
Yeah.
is why what he's doing is more important than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I decided to show some of the repair work on the stove, and some of the things to look for if you're considering getting a wood cook stove, because there's some things you need to know about it, what to look for if you're buying used. You can get brand new ones. They still do make them.
Oh, they're
but it's going to cost you anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000.
Oh, yes, yeah. And they're beautiful. They're beautifully machined. But boy, that's a lot of damn money.
Yeah. Or something like this, if I want to get it all done, it would sell for probably $750. There's some of the bigger, older ones that are just, incredibly ornate with all the nickel plating and scroll work and really cool. Those will go for quite a bit more. Sometimes.
And yet, I would have thought it'd have been the other way round.
But more. Well, people. That's the sensibility today. The value in people's heads has changed.
Well,
they don't see the value. They don't know it.
The new stoves do have some advantages. They're higher for one thing. The top of this stove is about 30 inches. It's noticeably quite a bit lower than a modern stove because I think modern stoves are all standardized to 37.
Yeah, that'd be short even for me. So do people put them up on blocks ever?
You can, but the newer stoves, they're built higher. They're built to the regular appliance standard for today.
Yeah, and
they're insulated on the back so you can get them closer to the wall because insurance companies don't like wood burning stoves of any sort. Because there are people that really shouldn't be allowed to use the damn things, and even if you do know what you're doing, things you have to really keep an eye on them. And it can be tough to maintain minimum clearances in that. So the new ones, they have a little bit better safety. They're a little more efficient, a little better setup for the firebox and whatnot.
Yeah. So where you live, are you subject to inspections and permits and stuff like that?
Not really inspections. The insurance company will want to have a look at everything to make sure that it meets the minimum clearances for what it is. And even then, they'll still piss and moan and probably raise my homeowner's insurance more than it already is.
Yeah.
Because I have because I heat with wood primarily, and I have a heater stove in the living room, and they like to piss and moan about that, even though everything is up to code and where it needs to be.
Yeah.
They still bitch about the damn thing.
Oh, boy. Anything that makes a challenge, that there will be somebody in your life to create that.
Well, they don't make any money out of it, so they've got to get it somehow out of you.
I know pretty soon, just like in the cartoon movie, The Lorax, pretty soon we're going to have to start paying for air.
Not if I'm on this planet, we won't.
I can't believe we pay for water.
I know.
We all do. We always have. But it's water, and we pay for water. What kind of sense does that make? And then some water systems, most across the U.S. have additives to it.
Yeah.
At the processing plants.
Same here.
Don't want to talk about that. I've talked about that enough in my life. I've wasted way too much time talking about what the shit that we're subjected to. Yeah. So Mudbrook, okay. I have to ask the question. From where does your name come?
Because I live in Mudbrook.
Oh, wow.
It's what,
As simple as that.
yeah, it's what this little corner of the county is known as locally.
Oh.
Okay, so I probably could have figured that out, but well, no, I couldn't have. I never would have figured that out. But, okay, so a lot of people call you Mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grampy Lobster calls you Mud Broker, like you were a real estate agent. Or a commodities trader or something, mud broker. Okay. Yeah, Adam E says now you get free pharmaceuticals when you buy water. No kidding. I think that is medication without permission. Medical something without permission. Because they say good for your teeth. No, fluoride is not.
No,
good.
it ain't. No.
It's good for a topical application. That's all it was meant for. And now they want us to drink it. But then they issued that to prisoners of war in Auschwitz. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that.
Can't tell for self. Sometimes, Maud, you have to watch her.
I'll keep her reined in.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. You're just the guy to do it. Yeah. Okay. Mudbroker, I don't know how old you are. You could have been my son because I raised my kids. When I was raising my kids, we grew things and we cooked. I made their clothes, and so anyway, you could have been at least maybe my nephew, because my children's fathers people had some of the knowledge you have, and so that was, I was lucky to have that knowledge, passed to me because, my mother-in-law, even though God, I hated my mother-in-law, geez, but she had so much knowledge. And I soaked it up like a sponge, and so my kids learned from that. My granddaughter is getting to know stuff. So bless your heart, Mudbrooker. I'm so glad you're out there on the internet because what you do has such value, especially right now. So thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I'll keep at it as long as I can.
Yeah.
Good. So you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. Do you have any plans, any ideas for anything coming up?
Well, yeah, over the winter I'll be doing a lot with the stove, cooking on that. And there's quite a few things I wanted to do with cast iron, that I still haven't got around to doing videos. So, I got a good couple of years worth of stuff in mind if I ever get around to doing most of it, working it into my schedule. So. This man does have a life outside of YouTube. I remember one of your videos I watched. I think you slapped a carburetor down on the table or something. And you said, "This is what I'm going to do later." Yeah, that was a tractor starter.
A tractor starter, I can't tell by me. So you do other stuff besides this, and oh God, I was going to ask you something, and now it dropped out of my brain. Okay, in regard to, we talked about what you have planned, and then I was going to ask you about one of your past shows that I saw. Okay. Somebody help me. Maggie, save me because I think I'm having a fucking dementia moment.
Never.
Me?
Your pans behind you. I love them.
Yeah,
well, my son's got it now, but it came from Ireland. The old cast iron. They used to do the patties on it, like potato pancakes.
yeah. I've
back
got
in the day.
yeah, I've got some waffle irons here. I've got some visual aids handy here.
Oh, please,
Oh.
yes. Yes.
There you go. You're right, Robin. I did it.
Something like
Oh.
that.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's
a
like a
waffle
first-
iron.
Yeah.
Move that down. Open her up here.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I've got-
whoa.
Yeah, I got a couple of these. I have an older video. Her name's Heather. She's the Needy Homesteader channel. And she decided to switch over to cast iron, get rid of all of her Teflon pans and all that. And I gave her some advice on it. And I have an old Wagner waffle iron from the 1890s. And I did a video making waffles on that waffle iron. If you want to go back and check that out, that's kind of cool.
I will be.
But this is real cool. This was made. I don't know if we can quite get a good enough version of it. That's made by. Oops, get it right side up there.
Yeah, when you come back and watch this, freeze the frame, you guys. Then you can get a good look at it.
That was made by Foxell and Jones in Troy, New York, and the patent date on it is patented August 24th, 1869.
Oh, wow.
Dang.
And I've cleaned it up. I haven't reseasoned and started using it yet. But that's pretty cool. That's just some of the other odds and ends that they make out of cast iron.
Okay, and one thing about the cast iron waffle iron, you get it nicely seasoned. You get it on top of the wood stove. You get it just right.
Yep.
There will never be a finish on a waffle like you get out of a cast iron waffle cooker. That thin crust that just has this little crunch. Oh God!
Yeah. Even doing them on my electric stove, it makes a real big difference. With that cast iron.
Yeah, there's something about the composition and the heat distribution and the boy, that's a mental illness, I think. Being so no, that means we'd all be nuts. But okay, what else you got
on this show?
Round.
Wow, yeah.
Round griddles.
Griddle.
Yeah.
That's a Griswold. Griswold and Wagner were the two biggest names in cast iron.
Boy, good for making Swedish pancakes, crepes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Krumkaka iron over here. I'm going to be using that eventually.
What's it called?
Krumkaka.
What's that? I've never heard that.
They're very thin. They're a Norwegian, Scandinavian thing. They're a very thin wafer. It looks like a waffle iron, but it's got a, almost no room between them. It's got a floral pattern inside, and you make the wafer, and while it's still hot, you roll it up on a cone, and you fill it. It's kind of like a Norwegian cannoli.
Oh, I'm sure I've had that, like in Solvang here in California. You get all the. I'm sure I've had one of those, light and crispy and crunchy, sort of like a thin fortune cookie kind of but with a pattern.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a cornbread skillet.
Wow.
Yes.
Cornbread skillet, and here you got a corn stick pan.
Corn stick pan.
Oh my God.
Makes little corn cob shaped corn sticks.
Oh boy, this is great.
Yeah, and then you got cast iron muffin tins.
Oh my God. You've got the lot.
Isn't this great? Isn't this great?
All kinds of odds and ends. And what else here? Move that around. And of course, you got your big rectangular skillets, or griddles, rather.
Putting up on two burners on the stovetop. Yep.
But,
oh God! Yeah, I've cooked. Yeah, that.
If you want to get into cast iron, a real good place to get stuff is secondhand shops.
Yeah.
Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, things like that. But you need to learn a little bit about what you're looking for. because there's a lot of really, cheap, nasty imported cast iron. It's mostly Chinese. But
And sometimes it's not even cast iron.
Yeah. See, like this is the handle's broken off. It's a cheap little fajita pan. But I'm not sure how good it's gonna really show up. But if you notice, it's got a real coarse, real grainy, almost sharp texture to it, and it's just bad iron, is what it is.
Yeah, and if it is heavier than it looks, that's real cast iron. If you pick it up and it doesn't have a heft, it's something else, and it's a fraud.
But there are quite a few really good pans that you can get for next to nothing this is made in Taiwan.
Okay, so that's a real deal.
And that's one of my favorite pans. That works just amazingly good for browning potatoes. If I want to make fried potatoes, that's the one I use.
That's another thing. When you brown potatoes, y'all, you'll get the best results from a cast iron, anything. Yeah,
and I paid 25-50 cents for that at a thrift sale, because nobody wanted it because it's made in Taiwan. The thing you want to look for first is kind of the overall weight of it. Really old vintage cast iron pans are real thin and pretty light. But if it's not good iron, it's hard to fill the molds with it. And, a real fine, thin mold, the iron won't flow into it properly. So they have to make them thicker. So if you got a real thick, heavy, chunky pan, it's probably not worth having. But you can make heavy pans out of good iron. Some brands are known to be heavier, like Lodge and Birmingham Stove and Range skillets. Even their
Lodge, that's familiar to me.
Yeah, Lodge is still in business, and you can buy them pretty much anywhere. In department stores, Walmart, Target, you name it. I mean, they're everywhere. And they don't machine the insides of the pan smooth anymore. They have kind of a pebbly texture to it. But it's different than the real rough crystalline kind of texture you see in bad iron. And it takes a little bit of time to learn how to spot the difference, but it's not real difficult. It doesn't take very long. If go to a Goodwill and look and see what they have, and then go to like an antique shop.
Where you'll pay premium prices.
Even if you're just window shopping, just to learn the difference, you can see what good iron looks like and what it feels like.
Yeah, and those people know how to price them because they can spot the big stuff.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, they, I've gotten some pretty good deals out of antique shops too. But a lot of times you can actually be better off buying something at an antique shop, because if they want, say, $40 for a skillet, a lot of times you can find the same thing on an auction site and get it for $30, but then you have to pay $20 shipping on it. So you end up paying $50 for something you could have just bought and took home with you for $40.
Yeah, comfort. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But auction sites too, they can be a pretty good spot to find things, especially if you're looking for something in particular.
Comfort Doll in the chat said that nothing sears a steak like cast iron. I think I'm paraphrasing. No kidding. No kidding. If you need to sear a steak, and lately I've been doing all my, when I do have a steak, I do it on the stovetop with a screaming hot skillet, to do that. And boy, if I don't have real cast iron anymore, but yes, nothing does it like cast iron. The even heating, you can get it really hot. My favorite piece of cast iron ever, and I've had a lot over the years. I have none anymore, because you
can't lift them up.
Well, no, you get a divorce, and you can't carry it because it makes your suitcase. Anyway, my favorite ever piece of cast iron. Well, my 9-inch skillet, 10-inch skillet. That was my favorite. It was perfect. But my favorite was. It was just a little egg skillet. I don't know what you call it. you could cook two there. Shit. That was like, boy, and I took care of that. But I don't
I
know.
love you, Robin.
Well, thanks, Maggie. I love you too. But that was my favorite thing. I have one piece of cast iron now. It's modern. It's a grill pan. It has those ribby things in the bottom.
Yeah.
This thing has enamel on the outside. It is hefty, man. But I've got to hold on to the counter when I pull it out from underneath my pants to stand up with. And then it has this really, really heavy lid thing. It's not a lid. It's a presser thing, and it has ribs in that too. So if you do grill a steak, you can get grill marks. And you press down on it, and you got to be really careful because you don't want to hurt the ribeye by pressing down hard. Yeah, I don't want to hurt it because. But anyway, yeah, I miss my little tiny. I have nostalgia for my little teeny weeny little egg pan. What do you call it, Mud?
It's just a skillet. But
it's tiny.
But there's different sizes, and the size numbers on a skillet, like a number 2 on up through different sizes. That's not standardized even within the same manufacturer. Like lid off a number 8 Dutch oven won't necessarily fit right on a number 8 skillet.
Okay.
But the most common sizes of pans are number 3, 5, and 8. Number 3 is about 6.5 inches across.
Oh, yeah.
A number 5 is about 8 inches, and a number 8 is about 10.5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so
I think I've had all those sizes.
Yeah, those are the most common small, medium, and large size pans. Expanding the process, I want to know if there's things to look for when buying secondhand cast iron. The first thing you want to do is buy the pan instead of the name. And because Griswold pans sell for quite a bit more. Wagner ware aren't quite as expensive, but they sell for quite a bit more. There's a lot of unmarked pans, like Early Lodge and Birmingham Stove and Range. They didn't have the maker's name on them, but you can figure out what they are. There's ways of identifying them. But the first thing you want to do is make sure the pan isn't cracked. And an easy way to do that is you hold it up by that, by the handle, by the end, and you give and just give it a rap with your fingers, and it should have a clear bell ring to it. And look it over carefully, see if there's any obvious cracks or things like that.
So are you looking for a dull sound if you thump one that's
no, it's a ring?
Well, you want it to ring, but I got a couple of cracked pans around here, but I don't have them right at hand.
Okay, so it's a different tone.
Yeah, I mean, it won't have that clear. It'll be a duller sound or a buzzy tone if it's clean. But I mean, it's a real distinctive clear ring if there's no cracks in it. But sometimes you can have a real fine crack in it and it'll still ring. So you got to look them over as close as you can. Yeah,
you can run your thumbnail over like rims and.
Yeah, and you can feel if there's a crack in it with your thumbnail.
Yeah,
and,
cool.
a lot of the pans you're going to find, they're going to have I don't have any really cruddy ones, but they'll have a buildup of stuff on the outside.
Oh, shoot, that's clean in my book.
Yeah, this one is. It's just got a little bit on them. But most of the pans I get have a real heavy buildup on them, in secondhand shops and such, which can be to your advantage because if you can't tell what it is, neither can the person selling it, and they're actually they're not going to try and jack the price up on you.
Yeah, I like this guy. Got great thinking.
Yeah, well, in fact, this pan here, actually, I got at a secondhand shop for, I think I paid $15 for it. It's a number 9. It's about a 12-inch pan.
You can fry chicken in that.
And I could see a couple little letters on the back, but you couldn't really make out anything else. And when I got it home and cleaned it up, I could see that it was an Erie pan.
Wow.
Erie was the brand name that the Griswold company used up until about 1912 or so. They switched over to using the Griswold name. And this particular style of lettering on that, they call it the artistic logo. I'm not sure how well it shows up. It's kind of
Okay, yeah, I see it.
kind of
Yeah.
curvy instead of just straight block letters. You can really see it on the end on number 9 there.
Yeah.
And they made that for 1 year, that particular style. It was 1906. And a pan like this size, now that's cleaned up, sells for about $350.
Whoa. Okay, so there's, dang.
Yeah, I mean, there's some nice, I got a couple more here that I just
I love this so much. Yeah,
This is me too.
I just stripped them off. This is a little number 4 Wagner
oh,
ware.
my heart. Look
And
at
this ridge on the bottom, that's a heat ring, is what it's called. That was made for when you took the eye off a cook stove like that. You would set this down in there, and that would seal and keep the smoke in the stove, so it wouldn't smoke around the pan.
Oh,
And most manufacturers got away from that, by about the 1930s. But Lodge kept it just kind of as a trademark. It wasn't really necessary, but they had heat rings right up until now.
boy, a couple of my pans had heat rings. I remember the heat rings, and
Birmingham Stove and Range also kept the heat ring throughout their history. Just kind of as a trademark, really. But
a trademark, nostalgia, tribute to the past.
But I got that. And then I got a big Wagner ware. That's also heat ring. These are both made in the 20s, this Wagner ware ones. And a Griswold pan.
Oh, look at, isn't that beautiful?
And like I said, I still got a lot of work to do. I got to de-rustify them and that. But they wanted $11 a piece for the big ones and $8 for the small one. And since it was Tuesday, and I'm old enough now to be numbered among the ancients, I got 30% off. So I got all 3 of these pans for I think it was $22 including tax.
Holy cow!
And that Griswold pan, those usually sell for $60-$70. The bigger Wagner ware sells for about the same. And number 4 is kind of an odd size. So there's a fair demand for people who want to get one of every size of every particular logo.
Yeah.
And they're fairly scarce. So, this little guy probably sells for $40.
Oh, look at that little guy.
Yeah. And they're, like I say, that's just about the right size for 2 eggs or something.
Darling. Just right for 2 eggs.
But hunting around, it's not going to be like that every time you go. A lot of times you don't have anything worth buying. But sometimes you're lucky and get to be the first one in line, and that's a $150, $175 worth of pans they got for $20.
Yeah.
So
to go.
So if you hunt around and keep your eyes open, you can really find some nice stuff out there. And even if you go to an antique shop and pay full price, $50, $60, $70 for something like this, you're only going to have to spend that money once. Because you'll be spending that money for your great grandchildren. Like I say, I've got pans here that are 100, 120 years old that I use all the time.
It's a purchase. It lasts forever. And like you said, you only have to do it once, and then you get something really superior. If you like to do the kitchen, if you like to do cooking.
I'm this going to car boots and stuff. I do.
There are some manufacturers now that make, real high-end, high-quality cast iron cookware, but it gets pretty expensive. There's Stargazer, Finex, the Field Company, and Butterpat are the brand names. But for a number 8 skillet, like I say, it's the most common size big one, about 10.5 inches or so. They'll run anywhere from $125 up to $200 a piece, depending on which one they are. Where for $75 or $80, you can buy, a vintage Griswold or vintage Wagner, or any one of a number of different brands at an antique shop and clean it up and use it. So, you can really be money ahead, even if you're spending full price on it. You can still get, an antique 75, 80-year-old skillet for less than you would for a brand new one.
A brand new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on you, boy. Thanks for giving people who are watching that information. You guys, check out antique stores. Check out your thrift shops. You know, anybody who lives, you know, on the West Coast. People. Okay. Here's what baby boomers are doing. Some of them, they're dumping all of grandma's old shit. Yeah. There are what people used to consider priceless china sets, all of grandma's old shit. People my age are so go to your thrift shops, go to, you know, estate sales, because people of my generation are dumping all kinds of crap. Number one, our descendants, they already have enough of our shit that we've already given them. So many of the people and they say, and I've had my kids say, "Mom, I got enough, thanks, but no, thank you," because I've been trying to thin down my life for like years now. You know, I have too much shit. So you guys go to.
I'm sorry I disappeared. You've just reminded me of my great granny's poker from Ireland.
Oh yeah, look at that.
See, that's a keeper. That's
I took it away for nothing. It comes all comes apart.
Yeah.
But I'll bet your kids don't give a shit about it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, see, it'll wind up in
It's a great weapon. My mum kept it next to her bed for years. I would part with it for nothing. No.
Heck no, it's a multi-purpose tool and it has sentimental value, but only to you. So anyway, you guys go to thrift stores, go to estate sales, pick up old people's shit because, you know, there might be some cast iron in it. I know there is.
Especially in the spring and early summer because, well, grandma didn't make her through the winter.
Yeah.
You know, and the kids are finally getting around to cleaning out the house.
You are so right. Oh God. Okay, you guys. Yes, this is dark humor, but you know we're all born dying. You know, so why not have a laugh?
Same thing a couple of days ago.
What's that?
But we're from the minute we're born, we're dying.
Oh, sure. It's like, you know, you drive a brand new car off the car lot. It's already depreciated on its way. Or depreciated. You know, you lose $1,000 if you hit the street after buying a brand new car. So, you know, that thing's dying. You know, metaphor. You know, people do the same thing. You know, we come out headed. Boy, we're just still on that theme. Mr. Mudbrooker. Well, okay, God, we've been on for an hour, you guys. Almost. Well, no, I blabbed a lot at the beginning about eating cheese paper. But Mudbrooker, this is the part of our show when we ask if our guest has anything further to share or any wisdom or, you know, no such damn thing. Whatever. You got any final?
Can I just ask one thing, Robin?
Of course, Maggie.
Will you come on again, Mudbrooker? Because I feel you've got so much more to say and tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Maggie.
Robin.
Mudbrooker, take it away.
I forgot where I was going to go with this now.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Perfect ending for the Grammy.
No, thank you for paying tribute to things falling out of your brain like I did earlier. Thank you.
Maggie sidetracked me and now I'm lost.
I know she does that to me too. But you know, she's very loved, so thanks, Maggie.
Yeah, I'd be glad to come back on if you had any, you know, questions set up ahead of time. I can answer on through. Yeah, I can't really keep up with the side chat, you know. So if I missed anybody in there that had any questions,
have a guest on. Unfortunately, they understand us now. We can't multitask.
And sorry we neglected you in the chat. There are a lot of names I've missed, you know. Brandon Young, thanks for showing up, dude.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
lots of people.
yeah.
Thank you.
I kind of remembered what I was going to say.
Okay.
If you're new to cast iron and you want to start off with something that's fairly inexpensive and see if it's something you want to deal with, probably the best bet to go is with Lodge brand cookware. It's pretty inexpensive. You can get a nice pan for $20. It'll work well for you, but don't buy something that's real cheap, some dirt cheap Walmart brand, because a lot of them, it's such bad iron, you'll never get it to season right. You'll always have things sticking to it.
Mm-mm.
And saving $5-10 just isn't worth it, because like I said,
No, it isn't.
Lodge is pretty inexpensive. And once you get the hang of it and you want to branch out from there, then you can start looking at, vintage iron or some of the more high priced new iron that's out there. And learn a little bit. There's a lot of cast iron groups on Facebook. There's different forums where you can get a lot of information.
Wow.
And there's reference books if you need help to identify something and get a general idea of the price. With price guides like that, they get out of date real fast. And the ones I have, they're a new printing, but they're haven't been updated since about 2012. So while the price itself, because the demand for cast iron really has gone up quite a bit
Yeah,
in the
I can
last
believe
5 or
that.
6 years, and while the prices themselves are nowhere near accurate, it'll show the relative price, the relative value of, say one size of this particular logo versus another versus a third one. You can get kind of a comparative value of them and adjust accordingly to the actual modern price, because some sizes are real common, like I say, number 3, 5, and 8 are the most common sizes. But you start getting in the bigger sizes like 10, 11, 12 on up. I mean, some of them, they get up to 2 foot across.
Jeez.
And once you start getting bigger like that, they get real expensive and real scarce for the antique pans. And it's the same thing with number 4s. Those are a little bit scarcer because people usually used a number 5 or number 6, so there weren't a lot of them made. But it'll show the relative value. If a number 3 is worth $20, a number 4 might be worth $40, but a number 5 is worth $20 again. So you can get an idea.
Well, so what? Okay, outside of your stoves and things, as in regard to cookware, what is the largest piece you have?
The largest piece I have is I got a 15-inch Lodge cast iron skillet that I bought brand new. I don't know, must have been
15-inch.
Yeah.
That would take 2 hands and a young boy to lift that thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty hefty pan, and I got that brand new back in the early '90s, I think it was. It was right before Lodge started selling their cookware pre-seasoned, because all the new Lodge cookware is pre-seasoned. You can pretty much use it right out of the box, which is handy. But this was some of the last ones they made that were just bare iron when they sold them.
Dang, 15. Okay, I'm looking at my laptop. My laptop here is 15 inches.
Yeah, well, give me a second here and I'll grab it.
This is great.
I can see Robin's eyes go, wow.
A 15-inch across.
Oh, he's gone off.
Yeah, because he's getting up and rummaging.
Oh, right.
Brandon, Robin is the size queen. Honey, when you get as old as I am, it sort of comes with, the years of living, sweetheart. Brandon.
Oh, dear. I just have to say that Stephen Rowan is correct. I was actually in Dublin when they did the water march. They don't pay for water over in Southern Ireland.
Really?
Really?
Our water department.
I thought they were having an Irish parade. They go and was filming it. I've got it on I've got it on video when they did the march.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, just
Whoa.
for
One bullet with that, you'd be gone.
If you could swing it, damn, it would take a skip loader to lift it, and then a crane to. Dang.
just
Yeah.
for comparison, that's a number 8 size pan there.
Yeah, normal, large. Look at the size of that, and look,
That's why he's got big guns, because he's lifting.
That configuration is really interesting. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How beautiful.
yeah, that's a helper handle, so you can grab it on both
but
ends.
then the inside has like a ledge on it. What is?
No, that's just kind of a rim of color from.
Oh, okay. Now I can see it better. Okay.
Yeah.
It's got the little gripper thing on the other side, and that fucker's beautiful. I'm sorry.
Yeah, most of the Lodge skillets have the helper handle on them now, so they're kind of handy that way, even though they're fairly heavy pans, but you can two-hand them a lot easier.
If you can possibly manage it. Holy
I struggled with number 4.
yeah. Oh boy! Thank you for getting up and getting that out to do show.
Yeah, thank you for that.
What a great sport you are! Thank you so much. Oh, okay, boy, I think this is we're winding up the Wednesday show. This has been absolutely wonderful, Mudbrooker. Thank you again, our gracious guest. Thank you so much, and you're easy to talk to, and you have so much knowledge. Everybody, please go over. If you don't know who he is, go over and sub and scroll back and look at all the stuff he's done. He shares all this knowledge, and he's a fucking good cook. Damn, he shows you how to do canning. Okay, your slow jelly. I can't remember the exact. I'm paraphrasing that. How you make the slow method of making jelly. I've done that too. Yeah, you just cook it down and let the natural sugar thicken it. You don't need any Certo fruit pectin. You don't need any of that shit. I love that slow method because you get the real goods and it's really intense. And okay, I could rattle on forever. You guys check it out.
You've been a gentleman and you're just a darling. Thank you for coming on.
Alrighty, yeah, you can have me back on anytime.
Okay. He just said he likes to be had, so we're going to do it again. Okay, that's like you just made the agreement again, Mudbrooker. Thank you again for coming on our show, and I wish you well and much success. I know you're struggling for viewers, so I wish you an expansion.
Feel free to throw money at me anytime, and watch my videos.
Accolades, help this man out. Okay, again, thank you, dear, and we'll talk soon.
Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how we pull it off.
Well, you know what? It's a tribute to
our guests. They're brilliant.
I know when they come on, it's just we're so fucking lucky, Maggie.
I know.
And this has been absolutely delightful. And this is only Wednesday, you guys. Okay, Sunday we have no plans for Sunday right now because we don't know who's going to show up, who's going to reach out to me, who's going to answer my, can you come on our show? But anyway, if nothing else, Maggie will draw cards for you. She'll do some divination. Some who knows? We don't know what's going to happen.
New collections, shall we say? I'm driving Darren nuts.
You've expanded your collection. Okay, you guys, there's a little tantalizer. So
I didn't need to,
though. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to end this. It's 11 minutes after 10 in the morning here. I'm going to go have some. I I have it thawing. I'm gonna have from my freezer because I cook chicken a la king over some buttermilk biscuits for breakfast.
Oh, Darren did a chicken stew, and I just like the juice and the carrots out of it. Lovely.
You take what out of it?
I just take the carrots and the juice.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna end this. Boy, what a great guest. We've
Oh
just
no.
okay.
And thank you, everybody in chat.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I'm so sorry.
You're a darling.
We
You
missed
really are.
you guys. Somebody said awesome guest. Yes, we had an awesome guest. Somebody else. Somebody.
What a delight.
Okay, I'm scrolling down through the Joe Nellis. Joe Nellis, a new name in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Who else is here? Todd Malikoate. Boy, I screwed that name up.
Comfort doll is my kind of person, by the way.
Who is?
Comfort doll.
Comfort doll. Oh, I know Comfort doll. Yeah, we bonded over in Drags chat. Somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know, but she or he. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a lady person. Okay, so we're gonna end this. You guys, this show, this is how Maggie and I talk. If there's not a live thing. Okay, Maggie, my sidekick, my good pal. I'll see you Sunday, sweetheart.
See you Sunday.
Kate.